The diner was exactly what you'd expect for a Tuesday afternoon. A slow, steady hum of clanking cutlery, hushed conversations, and the smell of sizzling onions. My shift was dragging a bit, and I was mostly just trying to keep my head above water, balancing trays and refilling coffees. Then he walked in. He wasn't flashy. No fancy suit, no expensive watch I could spot from across the room. Just a regular-looking guy, maybe late 40s, with a slightly tired but kind face. He sat down at one of my booths, tucked away by the window, and I grabbed my notepad, ready for the usual. "What can I get for you today?" I asked, giving him my standard diner smile, the one that says, "I'm here to help, but I've also been on my feet for 6 hours." He looked up, and that's when I noticed something was a little off. He had this worried crease between his eyebrows, and he was fiddling with his phone, a bit agitated. "Excuse me," he said, his English perfect, but with a distinct, gentle accent I couldn't quite place. I seem to be having a bit of a problem. My phone isn't connecting, and I need to make an important call. I also need to find an address, but I can't seem to get the GPS to work either. And I don't speak much English, beyond ordering food. My heart sank a little. Great. Another tech issue I was completely unqualified for, and now a language barrier on top of it. I'm a waitress, not a tech support wizard or a UN interpreter. "Oh," I said, a little deflated. "Well, let me see. What kind of phone is it?" I figured if it was something simple, I might be able to help. I'm pretty good at troubleshooting basic stuff. He handed it over. It was one of those sleek, expensive-looking ones, but it wasn't the brand I knew. He started explaining his predicament again, but this time, he switched to what sounded like German. My eyes widened a bit. "Moment mal," I said, almost without thinking. "Sie sprechen Deutsch." "Wait a moment, you speak German." His eyes lit up, truly lit up, for the first time since he walked in. Ja, ich sprech Deutsch," he exclaimed, a huge wave of relief washing over his face. "You speak German?" I laughed. "A little. My grandma was German. I spent summers with her as a kid." I started asking him more about his phone issue in German, and he explained, much more clearly now, that he was trying to reach a specific contact for a business meeting and navigate to a new office. It sounded urgent. As I was trying to figure out his phone settings, another customer, a tourist, walked up to the counter, looking lost. She held up her phone and pointed to a picture of a dish on our menu, then started speaking rapidly in what I recognized as French. "Ah, you want the coco vin?" I said to her in French, pointing to the menu item. "C'est delicieux." "It's delicious." The German man at the booth looked up, utterly bewildered. I just gave him a quick, apologetic shrug, dealt with the French tourist's order, and then turned back to him. "So, about this network problem," I said, back in German, trying to focus. He just stared at me for a moment, then chuckled, a genuine, warm sound. "You speak French too?" "Well, enough to take an order," I admitted. "Lots of tourists come through here." I fiddled with his phone some more, trying different settings. It wasn't just a simple Wi-Fi issue. It seemed like his data roaming wasn't working properly in the US, and he couldn't connect to any local networks. He needed to get online to use his map and call a number through an internet-based app. Just as I was about to give up, a family from the next booth called me over. "Excuse me, miss," the mother said. "Can you tell us what's in the chicken and rice? My son has allergies, and we don't understand the English menu." She was speaking in what sounded like Spanish. Claro que sí, I replied, immediately switching gears. Es pollo, arroz, verduras, no hay nueces. Of course. It's chicken, rice, vegetables, no nuts. I explained the ingredients in Spanish, reassuring her about the allergies. When I came back to the German man, he was leaning back in the booth, a stunned expression on his face. He didn't even mention the phone at first. Spanish too? He asked, his voice full of disbelief and amusement. I grinned. My best friend's family is from Mexico. I picked it up hanging out with them. This went on for another 20 minutes. A group of students came in, speaking Italian, struggling to understand the bill. I helped them. A lady asked for directions to a nearby landmark, speaking what sounded like a variation of Portuguese. I pointed her in the right direction, using the few phrases I knew. Each time, I'd come back to the German man, and each time, his astonishment grew. Look, I finally said, holding up his phone, I really think your data roaming isn't activating here. Do you have an emergency contact number I can try from my phone? Or maybe a number for the place you're trying to get to? I can call them. He gave me a number, and I dialed it from my own beat-up, cracked-screen phone. It rang a few times, and then a crisp, professional voice answered. I explained, as best I could in English, that his associate was having phone trouble and needed the address and some directions. I passed my phone to him, and he spoke for a few minutes, his voice calmer now, the relief palpable. When he hung up, he looked at me, really looked at me, with a depth of gratitude I hadn't expected. You have no idea, he said, switching back to German, how much stress you have just saved me. That was a crucial meeting. I was completely lost and cut off. I just shrugged. It's all part of the job, I guess. People get lost. People need help. Happens every day. He smiled. No, not like this. Not with 7 languages, was it? German, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. What were the others? I chuckled. Oh, a little bit of Japanese from an exchange student I befriended, and some basic Mandarin from a language app one messed around with. Nothing fluent, just enough to help someone out. He shook his head slowly, a genuine warm smile spreading across his face. Incredible. Truly incredible. He ordered a coffee and a slice of apple pie, his crisis averted. As he ate, he started asking me about myself, where I learned the languages, what my dreams were. I told him about wanting to go back to college someday, about saving up, about how I loved helping people, even if it was just with a meal or a few words in their own language. He listened intently, not like a customer, but like someone genuinely interested. When he finished, he asked for the bill. I presented it, a modest sum for coffee and pie. He pulled out a sleek, black wallet, and as he opened it, I glimpsed a stack of credit cards, all platinum or black, and a discreet, elegant business card tucked inside. My eyes widened a bit. He paid the bill, then pushed a $100 bill across the table. For your trouble, he said, and for your incredible kindness. Oh, you don't have to, I started, feeling a blush creep up my neck. That was a huge tip for a diner. Please, he insisted, his eyes warm. It's the least I can do. You truly solved a major problem for me today. He then wrote something on the back of a napkin and handed it to me. This is my assistant's number. If you ever need anything, anything at all, please call it. And please, think about that college dream. The world needs more people like you. He left, and I went about my shift, still a little stunned by the whole encounter. Later that evening, after the rush died down, I showed the napkin to my coworker Martha. "Look at this tip," I exclaimed, still giddy. Martha, always the pragmatic one, looked at the napkin. Her eyes scanned the elegant script, then widened even more than mine had. Wait a minute," she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. This number, and the name." She fumbled for her phone, typed something in, and her jaw dropped. "What is it?" I asked, a knot forming in my stomach. She turned the phone to me. The screen showed an article, a picture of the man from the diner, and a headline in bold letters, "Global Tech Billionaire CEO Secures Major Investment Deal." My jaw went slack. The tired but kind face of the man who couldn't get his phone to work, the man I helped navigate a tech issue and a language barrier, was a billionaire CEO. I looked at the napkin in my hand, the assistance number, the offer for help. I had no idea. Not a single clue. I was just being me, doing my job, trying to solve a problem for a customer. I guess sometimes, being genuinely helpful, even in the smallest ways, can lead to the most unexpected connections. It was a day I'd never forget, a reminder that you never truly know who's sitting across from you.